So the first time I watched Evangelion 2.0, I was just absolutely blown away. This was probably back around 2017, so the final movie in the rebuilds was still just way off, but I really wasn't expecting that much out of the second movie. I mean, I was pretty much just expecting a remake of episodes 6 through 12 from the show, because that's all the first movie really set me up for. And at the time, I definitely enjoyed 1.0, but looking back at it now, I think it's probably the worst of the 4 rebuilds. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love what 1.0 did add. Like, I think the expanded Ramiel fight is fantastic. All of the extra Misato scenes are great. I really like the music, but there's a lot that I don't like. I mean, I think the Lilith reveal especially just takes so much out of the original show. Like, in NGE, it's this huge climax that just turns everything on its head, and in the rebuild, it just kind of happens. Like, I get that they had to speed everything up, but come on, it's pretty lame. I also think that this being such a close remake to the show was kind of a waste too. I mean, considering everything past 1.0 changed the source material so drastically, this would have been a great opportunity to introduce something new. But man, most of all, I just hate the modern art style and the new color palette. But anyway, okay, wait. Okay, I'm gonna go off script for a second. I know I'm not supposed to do that because it's like a lame YouTube video essay and everybody takes their awesome YouTube video essays super seriously, but okay, just really quick. I'm still gonna talk about everything else, but just really quick, can I just, oh my god, I hate how Eva 1 looks in the rebuilds. Okay, but putting that all aside, I was not expecting much from the second rebuild, so I gotta say, it really delivered on being okay, I guess. Don't click off the video, don't click. Okay, look, I know everybody loves Eva 2. I mean, I think I know everybody loves Eva 2. Back before NGE made it on Netflix and 4.0 came out, I'm pretty sure everybody was just in love with the second rebuild. But that was also a while ago, so I honestly have no idea what people think now. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody still loves it, right? And I get it, okay? I really get it. Like, I was in love with it too. I mean, the music's fantastic, the visuals are fantastic, the action's fantastic. Like, I loved Eva 2 when it first came out and when I first watched it. And to this day, it's probably the one I've watched the most, but that was also a different time. And I mean, nobody knew how the series was gonna end or if the final movie would even ever come out. But everybody loved the second movie and hated the third one. I mean, I made this YouTube channel just so I could make a video talking about how much I hated the third movie, but now that I've seen the fourth movie, I actually like 3 more than 2. Don't leave the video! Look, that's a conversation for another day, okay? But if you're wondering how I felt about the final movie, you can just pick either of these videos I made. But now all my problems with the second rebuild are mostly in comparison to NGE and like within the broader scope of its purpose within all 4 rebuilds. Okay, I promise this is gonna wrap around to me talking about my favorite shot. Just stay with me. This will all make sense. Just stay. But my biggest issue with Eva 2 and what kind of prevents me from liking so much of it is with Asuka. I mean, this movie and the earlier rebuilds, honestly, this movie and all of the rebuilds in general kind of have a habit of dumbing everything down. I mean, yeah, I do get it. Like, you have a way shorter time frame to tell the story and you've got to rush some stuff. But they basically took everything that made her character interesting and just, they just threw it out. Now she's just a girl who has a crush on Shinji, but oh no, she's too embarrassed to admit it. I wonder if her or Rei are gonna cook the best pot of water. Like, what? The way they reframe the relationship between the two of them is so frustrating to me because I don't think her relationship and her interest in Shinji during Neon Genesis was ever romantic. She just longed for a human connection, but her sexuality was the only way that she thought that she could get that connection. This was all echoed in her relationship with Kaji, and all of that is mirrored in Misato, who uses her sex and sexuality as her way to express her love to others, which is why this happens and why this happens. And both of them love Kaji. But don't get me wrong, Asuka definitely does long for a connection with Shinji. At least she does before she ends up emotionally removing herself and just gives up on making connections with people. But that's also what Shinji is doing throughout most of the series. That's what makes their relationship so interesting, is that they both want the same thing, but they're both too scared to make meaningful connections with each other. But even when Asuka brings herself to be vulnerable enough and actually try to connect with Shinji, he just runs away, which is a big part of why she hates him so much. And yeah, the rebuilds are not the original show. And sure, these two have different names, so I guess they technically aren't the same character, but come on, they're doing the same thing. It's just remixing and implanting the exact same thing, but instead they're taking all of the nuance out of it and just turning it into, she has a crush, and she's angry at him because she likes him so much. Like, ugh, come on. But then there's this scene. After the group fight against the 10th Angel, it's just Asuka alone, laying in her bed. The blue of the night bathes the room as she tosses around trying to sleep, until she flips over and just gazes out of her window into the night sky, looking towards nothing specific, just beyond what she is now, towards something more. And while the rest of the film, I think, fails to understand her character, this shot, more than anything, absolutely does. Yearning for something more, for a connection, but just being too scared of rejection to try. So she just lays and stares off into the distance. Years ago, I was really, really lonely. Emotionally, I was probably the worst I'd ever been. I just shut myself off. I ran away. Everywhere I'd go, I'd wear headphones and listen to the Evangelion soundtrack, and the irony of which, definitely isn't lost on me. But when I felt like that, it was the only thing that really connected to me. The beautiful, sad, melancholic strings from NGE, EOE, and the rebuilds were pretty much the only thing that I thought could match how I felt. And when listening to tracks from the rebuilds, this kept coming up. Tranquility. Hopefully it's been playing this whole time, but Kara loves blocking videos I make with their music in it, so I'll link it below if it isn't. But this is one of my favorite pieces of music from the whole Eva soundtrack, and at the time it perfectly matched how I felt. But this specific upload of the song that I was listening to used this frame from Evangelion 2.0. So whenever I felt like that, whenever I walled myself off, whenever I listened to music, I just thought of this frame. Evangelion is about a lot, but at its core, it's this feeling, this longing for others, this loneliness. This is Evangelion, and I don't think anything sums that up better than this frame. That's why it's my favorite.
Bonus stage.
Okay, bonus round. I'm just gonna keep going again. Okay, there's a lot of stuff I wanted to say that I didn't think would really fit into the script. So I'm just gonna keep talking. I did it last time. That video got 4,000 views. So I guess yeah, this must be it. But no, I don't love this scene I'm talking about. I think the scene is almost awesome, but like a lot of the other stuff, it's kind of stupid. Like Asuka doesn't need to say, "I'm so lonely." Like I can see that visually, you know what I mean? And the ass shot really takes away from a lot of the goodwill that I'm giving it. I really don't like that. I was gonna make this a whole point, but I don't love the scene after it, because right after this she gets up and then lays down with Shinji in bed, which is absolutely not something she would do, but I guess it is kind of interesting for the character. But then I was thinking about it, and it's like, okay, so is this it? Which this isn't what it is, because the shot's there for like 1 second, but bear with me. So I'm like, so is it like it's this shot, right? This is her, and then her getting up and her going out is getting past that, and then becoming basically a new character. You know what I mean? And that's kind of mirrored in the end, like, before she dies when she's on the elevator. I guess she doesn't really die, but yeah. I also, because I don't really want to make this, I don't want to make like specific videos about just like random opinions I have, but since we're talking about, I guess that's all I do, but like since we're just talking about Asuka in the rebuilds right now, I do want to say the other thing I don't like about her is that all of the character development from the second movie just doesn't matter. The only thing that really carries over into 3 and 4 is that she's angry at him for not making a decision to fight back or kill her. And I think much worse, and my biggest problem with the fourth movie, genuinely probably my biggest problem with the fourth movie, is I think making Asuka a clone is like is terrible. You know, like I think that takes away so much of her character, because it's about being lonely, but it's about being lonely within this sense of individuality and perfection. And you don't have individuality when you're literally a clone. Like, you know what I mean? Like like metaphorically, like, we can do the whole clone thing, and we have the whole, like, that was Frey. Like, we already got that. Like, you already explored that. Like, I don't get it. But yeah, sorry, I don't mean to make anybody too mad. I know people like these movies a lot. Usually when I make an Ava video, I have a lot of people really angry at me, so I hope that doesn't go the same way. Like I said, I really do like 2.0. I just have a lot of specific issues with it, and I just thought this would be a good framing to talk about why I liked the shot so much, just because it is so perfectly her, despite the rest of the movie not really being. And it's also, you know, it's what Ava is. You watched the video, I talked about it anyway. Yeah, that's the video. The next one, I really hate these stupid video essay ones. Like, I like writing a lot, but then when I make it, it's kind of cringe, and I think this is gonna also come off a little cringe. And I really like being on screen, but it's also like, I don't really have access to a space or a camera right now, so I can't. But the next video I have filmed already, that'll be a little bit better. I'm also gonna write more in the comments. This talking thing is terrible. Anyway, thanks for being here. I'm gonna stop talking now.